I always thought the creaking in the hallway was just the old pipes. I thought the misplaced socks, the missing food, the cold air at night, all of it had a logical reason. But I was wrong. Someone or something had been living in my basement for over 12 years, and I had no idea. Let me start from the beginning. I moved into my aunt's old house after she passed away. It was a 2-story cottage tucked away at the edge of a quiet town, surrounded by trees, completely isolated. I thought it was the perfect place to start fresh, away from the chaos of the city. The first night I moved in, I heard faint coughing under the floorboards. It was late, around 2:30 a.m. I paused my unpacking and pressed my ear to the hardwood floor. Silence. I laughed it off, blaming my exhaustion. But that was just night 1. The next week was filled with small oddities. I'd leave my bedroom window closed and locked, but wake up to it cracked open. I'd go to grab a drink only to find the fridge slightly ajar, food missing. One time, a half-eaten apple was left right beside my bathroom sink. I live alone. I tried telling myself I was being paranoid. I set up cameras. Nothing. Every night was quiet on the footage, except for one strange frame. A shadow in the kitchen. No footsteps, no entry, just there. Like it materialized. Things escalated quickly after that. One night, while I was in the shower, I felt a cold breath against my neck. I whipped around, no one, but the mirror. The mirror had the words, "Don't come downstairs," written in the condensation. I hadn't said anything about the basement to anyone. I hadn't even gone down there yet. Naturally, I was terrified. I called the police. They checked the basement, found nothing. They laughed it off, said I probably watched too many horror movies. But the truth? The truth was far worse than anything in the movies. A few nights later, I heard humming. A woman's lullaby. It was soft, broken, like someone hadn't spoken in years. I grabbed a flashlight, even though every part of my body screamed at me not to. I descended into the basement, the air getting colder with each step. It was pitch black, but the smell hit me first. Rotting food, mildew, and something else, something metallic. As I turned the corner, I saw a mattress, dirty, stained, a pile of empty cans, children's toys, old torn clothes, and in the far corner, a small, scratched-up mirror with my name written in lipstick across it. I backed away, terrified, and knocked over a box. Something scurried behind the water heater. I screamed, ran back upstairs, locked the basement door, and pushed a cabinet against it. The next morning, I contacted a paranormal investigator. He brought equipment, and when he walked into the house, he immediately shivered. He said, "Something's not right here." He placed EVP recorders, EMF readers, and infrared cameras all over the house. That night, we sat together watching the feeds. At 3:11 a.m., one of the cameras in the basement flickered. Then we saw her, a frail, sunken-eyed woman crawling out from behind the heater. Her skin was pale, her hair matted. She stood, then turned to stare directly into the camera. We both gasped. She spoke, not with her mouth, but through the EVP. She promised she wouldn't leave me. I'd never seen that woman before in my life. The investigator looked at me and said, "I don't think this is just a ghost. I think she's alive." I couldn't breathe. We called the police again. This time they searched thoroughly. Hidden behind a fake wall panel in the basement was a small living space. She had been there, living in my home, eating my food, watching me sleep. Her name was Eleanor, and she was my aunt's daughter, a child the family had hidden away because of her condition. My aunt never told anyone she kept Eleanor in the basement. When my aunt died, Eleanor stayed. Alone. Forgotten. Until I moved in. But that's not where it ends. Eleanor was taken into custody, but she escaped 2 nights later, left a note in my mailbox. "You're my sister now. I won't be left again." That same night, I heard scratching at the walls. Inside the walls. I checked the attic. Nothing. But every night since then, I've woken up at 3:11 a.m. and I can hear the lullaby. Closer. I tried moving. Different city, new apartment, different locks. But last week, I opened my closet and found one of those old torn toys, the same one that was in the basement. Now the camera in my bedroom flickers at night, and every time it does, there's a glimpse, just for a second, of her standing in the corner, smiling. They said she was human, but I don't think she is anymore.